How are you doing? Kindly let me know down below. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and joining us for another episode of Tea Time with Buddhas. Kindly grab your cups of tea and let's get this show on the road. Kama kawaida, we have another amazing human joining us, so I will give him a chance to introduce himself.
How are you people? My name is Greatness. I am a poet. I'm a poet, performing poet, and also publishing poet. Amongst other things that I do, I'm a lover of people and a lover of God. Thank you so much.
Interesting. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Alright, now a lot of times I hear many poets say that poetry literally saved my life. You know, this is my safe space as I write. Do you feel the same way?
Yes, to some extent, it has been my point of release. Yes, I can't say it saved my life. Jesus saved me.
Touché.
Yeah, poetry has been my go-to place. My best friend, and my listening partner. Yes.
Interesting. Around when did you start writing?
I started writing in 2006.
2006. Right.
Yes, I was in prison. It was funny how I started writing. You know this four books the secondary.
Yes.
So it's called Tunendo Konyuma Tuna. You write as in I used to just write rhymes, but I started as a love poet. I'd love to write about love and give people hope and bring sunshine to people. And because the world is a bit dark for all of us. So it's a time for us to embrace that there's good, there's a light, there's hope. Yes, that is what I bring. Yeah, so I started writing my poetry in high school, from one. It was funny. My dad found my pieces. It was very funny. I got a beating, I think. Yeah.
For just writing.
Yeah, it was like, what? There must be a girl. You must be writing to a girl somewhere.
Is that a kind of thought they are letters of sorts?
Yes, it was. Yeah, and like someone has to have inspired. You need to tell me this.
Was there
person.
a girl?
There has to be. Every time there has to be. I didn't even think about me becoming a poet. I just wrote. And the more I got into English class, we had to like read through poetry, and I understood more.
So after the beating, you still clearly went on writing.
I did. It was my safe space, and of course, with the rest of my classmates and people are like, wow, this is beautiful. Write for me. There's a girl I need you to like. Okay.
So a girl is somewhere, seated somewhere, imagining, oosh, my man. Little do they know.
The man is me.
The man, the man is
two
you.
Men. Yeah, two men. There's a writing man and a face.
And they are.
The performing man. So yeah, that is how it started. I wrote a lot. I guess I wrote a lot. But you know. One of my mentors are like, those are nursery rhymes, you know, like, for you it's beautiful, but then for people who have been through poetry, and they're like, man, you need to up your game. So, so I consider that as my nursery rhyme books in high school. Very funny. But then the funny part is, as a writer, I got introduced to hip hop, which is an amazing. It's a different kind of writing, and the musicality with it, and a lot of attitude and stuff and strength came from me listening to hip hop. So I wrote my first hip hop verse in Form 3.
Wow.
So previously I used to like just write, but then with hip hop, like it has to fit a specific rhythm, a specific flow. Yes, and then there's a cut. You don't do like spoken word. You write, you write, and then you flip pages. You write, you flip pages. So hip hop has 16 lines. So you have to like put all your thoughts and all your creativity in 16 lines. Yes.
So it took a lot of writing and rewriting before it comes out as a perfect thing you want.
A lot. But then for me, the first song I wrote was a song. I was like, this guy has great lines. What is his inspiration? So I started from that. I wrote as that guy was writing. Like I needed to like get the feel of the writer. Yeah. So but then the funny part was I was listening a lot to gangster music and a lot of hardcore hip hop and stuff. I thought that was and as a guy that was feeding my masculinity part. Needed that feeling. Yeah. So that is what I wrote to. I think I wrote to a TI song. I can't remember which exactly song. It's been a while, so I wrote to that. I took to a guy, he's still my friend, and they're like, yeah, can you read what I wrote? I'm like, wow, this is not you. I'm like, what? How dare you? This is not you. You must have taken it from the internet.
Yeah.
Like, no, these are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, no, this can't be you.
This
like,
is too good
yes,
to be you.
Yes, this is too good to be me. And like, oh wow. Okay, I could have been disappointed, but I wasn't. It was like, wow. Wow. And you get that feeling like, I really made I wrote something beautiful that people can't relate it to me. College, the funny part was I needed to unlearn the gangster part. I felt like it was too toxic for me. Yeah, so it took me a while to like unlearn all those, the cursing, the anger, the violence, define what I really want to be, and then what I want to move. Yes.
So we feel like I have to conform to how the world is doing this.
Yes.
It's when I can make it in the game.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about that?
I feel like there are two ways about it. As a writer, of course, there's that element of you need to understand where people are so that you don't underperform. But then there's that feeling of you have to bring your authenticity. It's not about what people want to hear. It's about the essence, your essence, what you want them to know. Understand? Right now, like I look at empty pages and I'm like, wow. There's a time I used not to see an empty page. Like
that was your cue to do
like,
something. The pages are calling to you.
There's this season in my life mpaka nyuma ya receipts za bank, nyuma ya flyers, mzee akinipatia flyers nishajua tu hapo ni mistari.
That was intense.
Yeah, it was intense. There's an intense part of my life that after college, I can't remember the years, and because it's on record, so I don't want to put years. After college, there's this time I was washing my dad's car. So there's this guy, great friend of mine, into Blacks. He came through to see my dad in his office. So it's like, hi, is this so and so's place? And like, yeah, and this is so and so's place. Is your dad in? And like, yeah. Okay. He went in. So I watched, I finished, and I was like sitting and like, I can't remember what I was planning for that day. I can't remember any other details. So he came out, he's like, tell me, what's your name? And like, my name is this name. Yeah, it's like, what do you do? Like me, just finished college, I'm just home, stuff. And I asked him, what do you do? Like, I'm a producer. Like, wow. You know how many times I've wished for this moment. So like, you know what, I'm a rapper. Like, what? You're a rapper? Yes. Rap. Like, okay. What? Like, you're a rapper.
You were supposed to give me some time to prepare myself, put myself together.
So you're a rapper. I have done this to many people, but it gives them a chance to show forth their self. You don't need an audience, you don't need anything. For example, if you're a painter, paint. You understand? If you're alright, this is...
And that's interesting because we're all waiting for the big stage, the lights, and the big room.
You don't know who you're dealing with at that point. I meet him, we take contacts, and they're like, yo, should we talk sometime? Like, okay, fine. So then the mentorship program starts.
So yes.
Up to this point. This is what he tells me. He's like, you know what, I need you to write. Like, okay, you need to write 5 pieces a day. 5 pieces
That's
a day.
insane.
I know. It's like, I'm a writer, you get. Like, it's not a big issue.
Yes.
Okay, tell me what you need me to write about. Like nothing, I don't want you to write about anything. I just want you to write 5 pieces. Do anything you want. Write about anything. And like, okay, why? For how long? Like for a month. Like, wow. You need 150 pieces in 1 month. I was like, okay, that's a good challenge. We can do that. Mimi nani? Mimi nikampigia 300.
You did 300.
I did 300. Nilimwenda na file hivi. I wrote until I couldn't write anymore. There was a time during that month where like, no, I can't write. Like there's nothing else to write. And then I called him, I'm like, man, I don't have anything to write. I'm like, write about that, what you don't have anything to write about that. Like, wow.
So you find things to write about in nothingness.
Yeah, in the nothingness, in everything, you become more philosophical, you write. So I wrote like, for that month, I can't remember the year exactly. And I met him, and I was like, okay, fine. What I need you to do, I need you to write your first album. It's like, wow. As in, we don't take from this, no. Like, this is just trash. Like, yeah, this is trash. But then he told me, like, you'll come back after a few years, you're like, wow, I was wasting time.
Yeah.
You understand? So, like, write me your album. And, like, how many tracks? Like, whatever amount you want, just do your album and finish and just give me. So I did. I bought a new file. Hiyo time ndio nikanunua full scraps. I finished, I think it was 6 or no, it was like 8. I can't remember the nini I did. Met him, I think after 2 months. You know, now when you're writing for a concept, it's harder than when you're doing random thoughts.
Yeah,
because
course.
you have to like now collect yourself.
Yeah.
And I finished, and then like, this is it. I was like, it came to him, I pitched it to him, and like, I like the name, I don't like the lines. Like, wow. After I have finished writing, you know,
I've
like,
done my best.
yeah, like
all
after
my
I've
blood
finished-
and sweat in this.
Yeah, and you know, in my mind, I was like, this guy didn't give me a deal. I'll be performing. I'll be like, I need to impress him. You get, I need to impress. I need to write. So I wrote, but then I got disappointed. I was like, what do you want from me? You understand? Like, what exactly do you want? So I was like, man, you're wasting me. You get. I think I gave up on him for a while. I think 3 months. Usually when I give my a lot of my energies into something, and then I'm like,
It's not going the way you anticipated.
Yeah, so like, let me take some time and think, and probably this is not my path to life. So finished college, I went to Coast. I went to Coast for like 3 years. So in those times, there was no performance, there's nothing. So you just sit with yourself now and learn yourself and get that essence of you outside. And you don't have people to impress. You don't have anything. You're just a guy. You're not an artist. You're not anything.
Yeah.
So with that time, I think I wrote one of my best pieces during those periods. And usually, as you have asked before, it is my go-to. It's my emotional space, my safe space. Mtu akinitukana, it was like, there's this time I wrote like, poetry is my girlfriend. It's like, kiniumiza huko nje, usikuje kusoma my pieces, because I will tarnish your name on those pieces. You won't understand if this is you. So yeah, people were like, hey Maze, and then I decided that there's a season in my life I decided I'll be posting my pieces in Facebook. I posted, people like, wow, this this is you. Wow. And I'm like, yeah, this poetry is nothing to it. So I read and I'm like, wow, why must you'll be a star one day? Like, keep writing. You're like, wow, what? And then at that point, people are celebrating the pieces and have no performance. The problem then was I was growing as a writer, but I was getting less and less as a performer.
As a performer.
Yes. So that was a struggle for me. It was almost depressing. And then there was that part as a rapper, which is a totally different ball game. You understand? It's like you have to fit your bars and your counts, and everything has to be musical. And the people I was listening to decided it was a point of redefining what hip hop was, but the sound that I was getting from myself wasn't what I wanted. So it was depressing. 2015, I left. I was in Malindi at that time. Malindi is not an artistic. It is an artistic, but there's nothing much going on as a performing artist.
Yeah.
Unless you're a singer. Yeah, poets and rappers huko wanakaa tu ni underground, and no wase wanoma, but wanakaa tu ni underground. So I went to Mombasa. Ilikuwa ni story mrefu, kwa ile kuhepa wazazi. Ilikuwa tu ni kuhepa tu mzazi, yani hiyo kitu ni noma. So I'm like, I need to go to Mombasa.
So, unahepa wazazi because they're not in support of what you're doing?
Yes, funny enough, yes. I forgot a story. I sat in college, we were having, during my breaks, then I came home, and then we sat. At that time, my dad was asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, you're growing up, things are changing. You wanted to be this when you're in high school, you wanted to be this when you're in primary. And like, Dad, you want to be a rapper.
Wait. You told your father
that?
that?
I want to be a rapper.
After ile ulipigwa last time, you told your father that?
Yeah, like, me, I want to be a rapper. It's like,
I admire.
His first question was, does it pay? Like, let me take you to the internet. Because like most of the rich people I knew were rappers. Like, music pays. Yeah, it does. But it takes a long time for it to pay. So like, what, people are making a lot of money from this. And he wasn't convinced. It's like, I need you to get your degree, I need you to get your master's. Have a PhD by this age, you'll be this age, and then you'll be marketable, you'll be just going anywhere and people are just calling for you. Which is fine, which is an amazing thing as a parent to do that for your child. But then there's God, and then there's life.
And then there's me, I'm unfolding. There are things I'm learning and relearning.
About myself and where I want to go and the image I want. And in that season of my life, I was so much into freestyle rapping. And of course there were weak lines, but unajua freestyle inakwanga tu ni rhymes. Even my mentor, blacksmith, told me, like, you know what, you want to be immortalized. You understand? Like, people will forget your lines. Yeah, so you need to re-strategize about what you want to do, because I want you to make an impact on me. Over like 10 years before I got into stage, I was just putting my thoughts in paper and making
10
sure.
10 years is a long time.
Yeah, and my mentor was like, you know what I want you to do? When someone asks for you, when you're seen somewhere, you have understood how to produce the content you want. It's like being athletic. You are trained so that when you're on the track, when it's your D-Day, you push your body where you want your body to be.
Yeah.
So that was a goal. Like, I need you to write so that when you're asked to write, you're ready. You're not like, give me some time, I need to think about what I want to write. No, just write, because you're used to writing. It's part of you, and it's an essence. So you have like, you can make your way through anything that you put to task. So yeah, that is that was like 2015. Before 2015, that was all. doing a lot of businesses. I was doing a lot of businesses. I ran my family business. I did my own businesses. But for me, it was like everything was focusing on music. Like if I get this amount of money, I'm saving it for studio. I'm saving it for this. I'm saving it for this. So I 2015, I go to Mombasa. Niliepa wazae, hawajui niliwahepa, but I think sahi watajua. Niliwahepa. There's a guy, I had to leave my family business to him so that I go to his business because his business was in Mombasa. So in that point is when I left Malindi. I went to Mombasa. It was hard. It was hard, like it was so hard. Like little sleep, there's little money because it was a shaky business. It was so I wasn't getting that much money, but I was happy. I was happy. So what happened is one of these evenings after work, you know, like mi hutembea sana. I told you, I think. Like, let me walk around Mombasa. I can't stay in Mombasa and I don't know. So yeah, so unajua design unaingianga matu, unaenda to place unaenda, unashuka unaingia home. And like, mi lazima nijue my way around. So I decided that today I'm not spending much. Kitembea naangalia ma buildings na nini. So I reached this place. I think it's a Family Health Options Kenya in Mombasa, like youth-friendly services. So in my mind, I was like, youth-friendly, what can youth-friendly mean? So I get in. So the funny part is I get in and I see people rehearsing for a show. I'm like, wow, this is it. I come back. So I come, I see it, I watch, and I go, I do my other things during the day, in the evening I come, I sit, I watch. So until they got like, who is this guy? So
because he's always here every day like a ghost, but he doesn't say nothing.
He doesn't say nothing. Yeah, which is very funny. Like I'm the quiet guy sometimes. Sometimes I know people are laughing, but sometimes I'm the quiet guy. So I sit and I watch and they're like, wow. And for me, for that point, I fell in love with theater. They did a show, and it's after the show is when I was noticed. You understand? Because I think I paid for that show. So there's this guy who died. He died. His name is Pascal. He's the only person who heard from me. Like he was the only guy, you know, kikundi, kikundi ya theater inakuanga na rowdy sana yani. So the guy was like, you know, I've been seeing you around. What do you do? Like, I'm just a writer. Like, do you have your pieces? Like, yeah. Like, wow, this is you. Hey, Mazi, you write so beautifully. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, can you perform? Like, that is why I came. I needed help. Like, it's fine. This is what we do. We help people get their voice and speak out and perform. So the good thing with that theater group was before the play, they used to have pieces. People like perform. So yeah, it was amazing. So it was good for me also. So me going to come rehearsal to rehearse my piece. I was wengine wana rehearse lines zao, mimi na rehearse piece. Si get yani una get no ile design mtu anambia tu manze hakuna kitu na do. Hakuna kitu na do, manze go back. Yeah, and you know I'm being hosted by my aunt. I don't have that space to like perform or rehearse. Asubuhi niko job. Jioni niko rehearsal. Sina time ya unaona ile design. Sasa ile time una rehearse ni time unangoja ku present ya msee na kuvet.
My God.
Yeah, so that was that. It was fun. It was an experience. I got to perform that piece. Nika perform. Ilikuwa poa. He died before the second. I think it was before the second play that they were airing. They were performing, and it shook me because he was the only guy who was, as in mimi nilikuwa nikiendea tu mse personal space, no one cares, like hata nikisipokama kuna mtu anajua sikukama, so there was nothing much happening there. So na mimi pia nika re-strategize, nikasema ndio hivyo mimi naishia Nairobi. So nikaepa. So my dad was like, unafanya ndio nataka kwenda Nairobi, naenda kufanya usanii. Like usiende Nairobi. So like, where are you going to stay? I don't know where I'm going to stay. I need to now that you have mentioned I need to stay somewhere, I need to look for somewhere. So what I went with was college. I wanted to do another diploma or something. So hiyo nikafikiria hiyo ndio excuse poa msee kuni host. So nikaenda kwa auntie yangu, kwa husband wake and bishop wa church fulani Pangani. Akani host poa, mzee ilikuwa poa, but unajua historia kwa hosted hauna time yako, unajua tu kuna time ya host. Seti nilikuwa nafanya job, but una time event inaisha ka 11, una come home 12, so imagine unambishia msee saa 6 mzee, I need siku wako siku yenu as in like mzee una overstep sana, unatuamsha kwa bed tukuopen mlango. So like mimi nikakamadi na passes za events, I'm like cheki nimetoka events, nimetoka player, nimetoka event, ndio pass, ndio badge, ndio nini. So haiko ina make sense. So after that I got into this relationship. So this girl was like, you know what, you need to get out of your uncle's house. You've been 2 years, you've been hosted for 2 years, maze. Get out, hustle, maze, ulipe rent, nini, make your own life. So I left. So we get to this event in National Theatre, people are performing, it's an open mic. But unaandika jina yako uitwi. Unaandika mpaka siku nyingine nikashika boys fulani naitwa Phobia. Boys wangu sana nikamshow, kwani brother hapa mnafanya performing jazz, do you pay like the guys to like no, you don't pay, kuja. So it's like wakinita tutaenda na wewe utaperform kwanza, mimi perform. Like serious. Like nipo tu. So I got angry. I was like, you know what, in Nairobi ni kubwa yani kupigania platforms. So I started like, I'll register my own company. I'll do my own platforms. I'll do I'll work my way around all these things. Because mimi napi always nijenge ukuta juu isi dunia yako. So I started my own company. I took my friends, and like we have to do events. Of course, the first 3 or 4 is in a flop. Unaanza to re-strategize. That time was being hosted. So after that, it's like when I'm out of my house, of the house now, because kwa saa your own event, unajua ni hectic, itakula do, itakula time, utakuwa na meetings. Unatafuta na partners and my poets, my auditions, yani vitu ni mingi, so you don't have that time to come home mapema. So I left. I went to live with my small bro. So yeye ilikuwa ni idea kwambia buda to support ndio kwa hili. So my dad was sending rent, mimi na hustle like kiasi ile time nimepata dopoa ninalipa. Yenye sina dopoa naambia tu buda mzee mwezi ilichoma. Bet ilichoma. Yes, I think that is performance. Like I was performing like crazy. There's this time we did street shows. We go to streets, yani tunanyeshewa, tunapiga tu show, tunaenda home. So kuna time my ex akaniuliza na hii usanii aitoi haileti do. So itabidi umetafuta kitu juu. I used to do like menial jobs. Na kuna boys fulani alikuwa kuna company events, but alikuwa kuna setup. So mimi nilikuwa naenda so mkono kubeba, unatoa yako 2 au 1, unaenda unapiga na wiki, so unajua saa buda ana sort rent, una sort tu kila kitu. So hiyo si the mob. so una hustle and I saw I'm sure mrembo anakwambia mazee itabidi utafute kitu inapea siku zinaenda and nini hatutaishi tukitumia pesa yetu kupeana usanii. Unajua usanii nakula
the first few years it takes and takes
usanii nakula na mrembo yuko hapo like we need to settle down and stuff. This is not what will settle us down. And like man, unajua sasa unapichia mrembo events iko na pesa ngapi? Unajua events wenye iko na do itajipa wewe usijali. So with time I like by the way I don't have to hustle zingine. So I think that is bad part. People know me as a performing artist, but people don't know me as a rapper. Yeah, that is what I grew up on, and that is what I enjoy. That is what I feed on. I feed on hip hop. It's nika chai, nika kitu naweza kula yani. Poetry is good, but then poetry is not a standalone. It's not a standalone performance. Especially if you're looking for a long term unapanga career. You get so you have to like infuse a lot of things so that yes. I think that is me.
Wow, my goodness. So what has been one of the highlights of this whole journey?
Failure.
I was imagining something else.
Yeah, failure is the biggest highlight. You have to fail. You have to fail big. Nakumbuka kuna time nilikuwa kwa live TV, mistari is lost. I think I told that to a guy like niko live TV and it's a launch for a saloon or something.
My God.
So I wrote specifically for unajua ile kuandika ni issue in itself. Like if I'm writing, I'd rather do a general piece, I can use it somewhere else. I was writing for that launch. I was writing for that company. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful piece. I struggled to memorize it. Mazee kwa stage. Na a lot of your times sikuwa najua msee anaenda na simu. Nikaambia tu I'm sorry. Nikashuka stage. Kena nikajikalia hapo hivyo. Wasi hata wanaja na mimi yani. Na sasa hiyo pia ni mistake mimi do kwenda event peke yangu na kwa na msee ananipea support.
Moral support
But nilienda peke yangu nikajikufia kimwanaume hapo. So also another thing ni kutokulipwa, which is a big thing. Event kulipwa.
Yeah, it's a big thing. A lot of younger artists think utaingia na kuna do.
Kuna do. Kuna kazi. Ndangu niambia mazee Kenya kuna pesa lakini kuna kazi.
Yeah, before the money starts flowing in.
You have to put in your work. You have to put in a lot of time.
Yeah.
And kuna time hata unasahau tu kuna story ya do kwa hii dunia. Like ka usanii like mazeni wacha. Mimi usanii mimi jamii usanii kama mtoi. Uni mtoi as in siwezi expect any either side. So yeah, so with the seasons of life, ile ndo na get kidogo na mwanga studio na piga projects zangu, and God pia ameni bless na wase wanani support. Niko na Brombigi ni producer. Yeye nisimia ma beats and nisimia ma instrumentals and like man shika hii hebu andikia like hii kali andika so na get do kiasi naenda tu studio na top vocals. So with time juzi niko this year nimejiangalia like mazeni niko na 24 tracks nimerecord so far.
Wow.
It's like 24 is a lot.
Wow.
So and you know with life kuna ups and downs. So you write everything. You write your highs, you write your lows, you write your emotions. Kitu ingine funny kunihusu mazeni, after every breakup I write. So yeah,
you break up with people often.
I know like yeah, so the first breakup I did a song, the second breakup I did a book, the third breakup I've done a book. So yeah, it's funny because again utashinda ukienda ukililia sema hivi ndio yanafeel.
So utalia kwa kitabu.
Nitakusema. Hapo nitakusema na nitapoint.
Right, interesting.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, but as a writer, it's fun. It's fun because again you get to be with yourself more often and you enjoy your own company. I take pleasure in having people grow with me. So it's never about me growing or shining. That doesn't appeal to me as much. So my biggest question has been, who am I growing with? Then with developing a team, it's you don't work as hard as you work
You
when
do
you're
alone.
alone.
Yeah, that's true. Now this has been so interesting. I know we are out of time. They've been signaling us over and over again.
Really,
But this has been so good. It's been amazing sharing with you. Thank you so much for that. If someone were to look for you on your social media platforms or any of your works, where would they find you?
Greatness Poet. It is one word, Greatness Poet. At Greatness Poet, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, niliambiwa nifungue TikTok mazee, but masculinity, toxic masculinity inanisumbua. I have a blog, greatnesspoet.wordpress.com.
Thank you so much for joining us. This
much.
has been Tea Time with me, Felicity Moody's. Thank you so much for sitting with us. See you next week, same time, same place. Love.